Ever feel like the person that's selling you a property isn't giving you the best comps or the most accurate after repair value? Well, here's 5 tricks I want you to look out for when you're valuing your next deal. Number 1, the old enclosed garage trick. Your subject property, enclosed garage. Your comps, not enclosed garage. On the face value, has the same living square footage as the non-enclosed garages, but you're actually losing out either 200 or 400 square feet for a single or double or 2-car garage on the gross square footage. That needs to be an adjustment when you're doing your valuation. So it's not just living square footage to living square footage. You also need to make an adjustment because 1, you have no space left over. 2, the curb appeal is not as good either. So an appraisal, they're gonna make an adjustment. So make sure that you're making that adjustment too. Second trick is the enclosed back porch. Now here in Florida in the 1970s, 1980s, we got a lot of block houses that have an exterior wall that leads out to a back porch. This back porch may have an air conditioning vent in it, so it is included in the living square footage. But be careful, not every appraiser is going to include that as living square footage. If you have to step down onto that back porch and your entranceway is a double slider that was been removed and it looks like a slider was used to be there and you're stepping down into that space, regardless if there's a vent there, the appraiser may not count that as living square footage. Typically, these spaces are about 400 square feet. So if it's 400 square feet and $250 a square feet, a huge adjustment that you're off on your after repair value. Be sure that you are absolutely 100% comfortable that you can use that as living square footage. All right, number 3 is year built. Is your property a 1959 property and you're getting comps that are 1990s that look completely different? The architectural design, the curb appeal, you may be dealing with an 8-foot ceiling versus a 12-foot ceiling. The year built is an adjustment. It's not just even based on living square footage. So many people look at a property, they're going to value it strictly on square footage. Do not make that mistake. And it may not show up all the time in the appraisal, but the buyer of the property is going to have a difference. So you may strike out a ton of buyers just because they want a higher ceiling versus a 1959 8-foot ceiling. So regardless of appraisal, you're now getting rid of half the potential buyers out there because your property was built a long time ago and people had much different desires. So year built, keep that really, really important. Here's one that's kind of coming up a lot recently is new construction. Now, what you want to look out for is when the comps are using new construction, because a lot of national builders right now with the higher interest rates have been giving deals to buyers that they will buy down the interest rate. So the price won't change, but their payment will change dramatically because they're not getting a market rate. They're getting much lower than a market rate with that buy down. It's like a seller credit, but it doesn't show up. So if you're comping against that new construction and you're doing a property with a lot of new construction in the area, be very, very careful about using those comps as comps for your property. That's not new construction. So that was one that's really showing up a lot. Be very, very careful. It could be a substantial $20,000, $30,000. And with margins tightening up at the moment on flips, this is very crucial because it could be the difference between profit, break even, or even loss. So the final one that I want to point out too, and we had this on a property recently that I was underwriting the other night, it actually hit all of these things. It hit the enclosed garage, it hit the year built, the curb appeal of the property was significantly different than its neighbors, but a busy road, you have to make an adjustment for a busy road. If all your comps are within the neighborhood and you're outside of the neighborhood on that busy road, be very, very careful. It may not show up in an appraisal, but these are the things that steer buyers away from your renovated property. You could have a beautifully renovated property. They don't want it. It's on a busy road. It's dangerous for kids. It's dangerous for pets. It's dangerous for anybody. So be very, very careful. And if you've got all of these things lined up, you may want to think about a different investment. Believe me, there's a ton of people out there selling real estate opportunities. You will find one. One of the best lessons I could give everybody out there is the ability to say no and look at the next deal. There will be more deals, so just say no. All right, hopefully these things to look out for really help you and make you profitable on your next deal. We'll see you out there, guys.